On a cold winter morning in 1889, hundreds of Americans woke up expecting an ordinary day. By sunset, many of them would be dead, an entire town would be nearly erased from the map, and the United States would witness one of the most shocking disasters in its history. The rain had been falling for days. Not the gentle rain that farmers welcomed, nor the refreshing showers that washed dust from city streets. This was relentless rain, heavy, dark, and unforgiving. Across the hills of western Pennsylvania, streams overflowed their banks, rivers swelled beyond imagination, and nervous residents watched the skies with growing concern. In the bustling industrial town of Johnstown, life continued despite the weather. The town sat in a narrow valley surrounded by steep mountains. Smoke rose from steel mills. Trains rattled through the valley carrying coal and iron. Shopkeepers opened their doors each morning, and children hurried through muddy streets on their way to school. For years, the people of Johnstown had heard rumors about the dam. High above the town stood the South Fork Dam, an enormous earthen structure holding back millions of tons of water in a reservoir known as Lake Conemaugh. Many locals worried about its condition. Engineers had raised concerns. Workers had noticed weaknesses. Residents living downstream often whispered about what might happen if the dam ever failed. But life went on. Most people believed that even if the stories were true, someone would fix the problem before disaster struck. They were wrong. On the morning of May 31st, 1889, the rain intensified. Water poured into Lake Conemaugh faster than anyone thought possible. At the dam, frantic workers struggled to lower the water level. They dug emergency channels. They cleared debris. They worked through exhaustion. Nothing helped. The lake continued rising. By noon, the situation had become desperate. Messengers rode horseback to nearby communities warning that the dam might fail. Some residents dismissed the warnings. Others panicked, but few could imagine the scale of what was about to happen. At approximately 3:10 p.m., the South Fork Dam collapsed. In a matter of moments, nearly 20 million tons of water exploded through the breach. The force was unimaginable. Trees were uprooted instantly. Entire buildings were ripped from their foundations. Railroad cars weighing dozens of tons were tossed like toys. A roaring wall of water, mud, timber, and debris surged down the valley at terrifying speed. Witnesses later described it as a moving mountain. Some estimated it reached heights of more than 40 feet. Others said the sound resembled continuous thunder, mixed with the roar of 1,000 locomotives. People in the valley had almost no time to react. Families eating late lunches suddenly heard screams from the streets. Factory workers looked up from their machines and saw chaos approaching. Children playing outside froze in terror. Then the flood arrived. Houses shattered instantly. Bridges collapsed. Entire neighborhoods disappeared beneath the raging torrent. Many victims never knew what hit them. One of those victims was 14-year-old Clara Barton Mitchell. She had spent the morning helping her mother prepare food for the weekend. The family lived near the river and had noticed the unusually high water, but they were more concerned about keeping their small home warm and dry. When neighbors began shouting about a flood, Clara rushed to the front porch. What she saw would haunt survivors for the rest of their lives. A dark wall stretched across the valley. It seemed impossible. The water was carrying entire houses. Massive trees spun through the current. Livestock, wagons, railroad equipment, and countless pieces of debris churned together in a deadly avalanche. Clara's father grabbed her hand. "Run!" he shouted. The family raced toward higher ground. Behind them, the flood swallowed their neighborhood. Within seconds, their home vanished. For thousands of residents, survival depended on a few crucial moments. Some climbed trees. Others scrambled onto rooftops. Many sought refuge on hillsides. But the flood moved faster than almost anyone expected. Among the heroes of that day was engineer John Hess. Working near the railroad yards, Hess immediately recognized the danger. Instead of fleeing, he ran through the streets warning everyone he could. His voice echoed across the town. "The dam has broken! The dam has broken!" Several survivors later credited Hess with saving their lives. Yet even his warnings could not save everyone. As the flood surged into Johnstown, a massive stone railroad bridge became a deadly trap. Thousands of tons of debris accumulated against the structure. Homes, trees, wagons, and people became tangled in a giant floating mass. Then tragedy struck again. The debris caught fire. Survivors trapped within the wreckage faced an